Have you ever woken up one morning feeling utterly drained, even after a full 8 hours of sleep? Do you ever feel like you've done everything you're supposed to, followed everyone's advice, tackled your work, tried to live right, but still don't feel like you're living true to yourself? Maybe it's not because you haven't done enough, but because you're pouring your energy into the wrong places. You're letting your mind wander, focusing on things beyond your control, trying to change others or proving to the world that you're worthy. But in that chase, you abandon the most important person, yourself. We're often taught to become a better version of ourselves, smarter, more successful, more outstanding, but rarely are we told that to live a meaningful life, we must first focus on ourselves. Focusing inward isn't selfish. It's about stopping the distractions. When you learn to gather your energy, turn inward, and transform it into inner strength, you'll realize the world doesn't change, but you do. And when you change, everything starts to shift. In this video, we'll explore 7 Stoic-inspired strategies to help you reconnect with yourself, protect your precious energy, and begin a journey of living deeply and powerfully from within. Strategy 1. Stop resisting what you can't control. In his Meditations, Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it's not yours to control, don't let it control you." This is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. So many of us spend our lives fighting bad weather, fighting rejection, fighting people who don't treat us the way we expect, fighting others' misunderstanding of us, fighting things that shouldn't have happened. And in that battle, the only thing we lose is our own vital energy. You can't control the world. You can't control other people. Sometimes you can't even control your own emotions. But you can always choose how to respond. You can choose to let go of what's dragging you down. You can choose silence over angry words. You can choose calm in the middle of a storm. You can choose to step back to avoid being swallowed by someone else's emotions. Giving up control isn't failure, it's wisdom. Because when you realize something is beyond your control, you stop pouring your energy into the void. Think back to yesterday. How many moments did you spend frustrated because things didn't go your way? How many situations drained you just because you tried to change something unchangeable? The more you resist, the more exhausted you become. The more you let go, the more space you have to breathe. I remember a friend once told me, "I found my life became half as heavy just by stopping the need to explain myself to people who don't get me." That simple realization was a turning point in her journey inward. When you stop trying to control the outside world, you start mastering your inner world. That's what you truly own. Stoics don't shy away from pain. They face it head on, but they don't let it rule them. When faced with failure, they don't scream, "Why me?" They ask, "What can I learn from this?" When rejected, they don't collapse but wonder, "Maybe it's time to take a different path?" When loss strikes, they don't deny it but accept. This is the nature of life. Everything is impermanent. If you're grappling with something that's wearing you out, pause for a moment, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what am I trying to control that isn't mine to control? Just asking that question is enough to spark awareness. Write it down. Observe your emotions. Then let go of what doesn't belong to you, because that energy needs to be saved for the things that truly matter. Strategy 2. Narrow your circle of concern. Expand your circle of influence. Do you ever feel like your mind is a chaotic stream with no end? One moment you're stressing about a work deadline, the next you're worried about the global economy, then you're anxious about what someone online thinks of you, or feeling inadequate because your friends seem more successful. All those thoughts sweep you away, leaving you exhausted even when you haven't done anything wrong. This isn't because you're weak, it's because your circle of concern is too wide. Stephen Covey introduced the concept of 2 circles. The circle of concern, which includes everything we care about in life, from the weather to politics, to the economy to what others think of us, in the circle of influence, which includes what we can actually act on and change, like our reactions, choices, and daily habits of thought and behavior. The problem is, most of us pour our energy into the circle of concern, where we have no control, instead of focusing on the circle of influence, where we have real power. Stoic philosophy is clear. Narrow your focus to what's within your reach. Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste energy arguing about what a good person is. Be one." In a world where everyone has a voice, shares opinions, and might even criticize you for being true to yourself, the wisest thing you can do is stay silent about what's beyond your influence and act decisively on what's within your control. You can't change what others think, but you can change how you respond to their words. You can't make someone love you, but you can learn to love yourself enough to not need external validation. You can't control whether it rains today, but you can carry an umbrella and keep walking. When you stop fixating on things you can't change, you free up energy to change yourself. And when you change, you start creating real impact. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. The next time you feel anxious or stressed, pause and ask, is this in my circle of influence or my circle of concern? If it's outside your influence, let it go. Picture yourself closing a door to a chaotic world that doesn't belong to you. And when that door shuts, you'll see the light where you stand. Narrowing your circle of concern doesn't mean becoming indifferent or apathetic to the world. On the contrary, it gives you clarity. When you know where you can make a difference, you act with focus and purpose. Instead of spending hours arguing online over unresolvable differences, you could read a book that helps you grow. Instead of worrying about the economy's future, you could learn a new skill. Every choice reshapes your life's energy. Stoics don't isolate themselves from society. They live in the world without being swept away by it. They observe, they listen, but they choose to focus on practical action over emotional reactions. When you live this way, you become not only freer, but also a source of strength for those around you. That's when your circle of influence begins to expand, not through words or control, but through the energy of a self-mastered person. Are you living in a circle of concern that's too wide? Do you often dwell on things you can't change? If so, try narrowing it down. Write down 3 things that have been worrying you lately. Circle the ones you can influence and cross out the ones that aren't yours to control. This isn't avoidance. It's intelligent filtering. You're protecting yourself, safeguarding the precious energy you need to build a life of depth and meaning. If these ideas resonate with you, don't forget to like the video, comment with your thoughts or what you're learning, and subscribe to continue this journey of self-discovery through the profound wisdom of Stoicism. Every interaction not only fuels my motivation, but also helps spread these positive messages to more people. Strategy 3, learn to be alone with yourself in an era where connection is treated like currency, where social media, texts, calls, meetings, and endless notifications never stop. Solitude has become a source of dread for many. People fear the emptiness of having no one to talk to, nothing to watch, or nothing to do. But the real fear isn't being alone. It's not being able to stand yourself when you are. Because we can't face ourselves, we fill that void with noise, activity, and distraction. Yet here's the paradox of growth. To become a stronger version of yourself, you must learn to sit alone with yourself. Stoics viewed inner stillness as one of the highest virtues. Epictetus taught, if you want to progress, accept that others may look down on you. Embrace solitude as part of the path to enlightenment. This isn't a weak loneliness, but a chosen solitude, a space where you're no longer pulled away from yourself by the world's noise. In that space, you can hear the honest voice deep within your heart, often drowned out by the attention you give to the outside. One reason people feel lost is that they never pause long enough to ask, what am I really feeling? Or am I living for myself or just meeting others' expectations? These simple questions can't be answered if you are constantly running from yourself. By learning to be alone, you give yourself the chance to rediscover who you are, deeply and authentically. Try this. Imagine setting aside just 10 minutes to do nothing. No phone, no music, no talking, no reading, just sitting in silence, watching your thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. You'll get restless, your mind screaming for something to do. But if you stay with it, the noise in your head will quiet down. And as your mind stills, clarity emerges. You start to hear your inner voice, not the voice of fear or anxiety, but the voice of intuition, understanding, and your true self. Someone who's learned to be alone no longer depends on others' validation. They don't need agreement to feel enough. They don't need constant company to feel unlonely, because they've learned to be their own friend. They can sit alone in a cafe without checking their phone. They can walk through a park without earbuds. They can spend a weekend evening writing, reading, or simply breathing and feel no lack. That's a profound freedom no relationship, job, or fame can provide. This doesn't mean abandoning all relationships. Humans are social, and connection is precious. But the most enduring relationship must be the one with yourself. If you can't live with yourself, you'll always seek others to fill that void. And that leads to dependency, disorientation, and vulnerability. Stoics understood that moments of stillness are where strength is nurtured. They spent time alone to write, reflect, meditate, or journal daily to observe their inner world. In that space, they honed mental clarity, emotional resilience, and a steady foundation for the soul. You can start small. Spend 10 minutes each morning writing down your feelings, or 15 minutes each evening just sitting and breathing. Make being alone a nourishing ritual, not a lonely punishment. If you find this helpful, share this video with someone who needs a moment of stillness in their journey of growth. And don't forget to like and subscribe to keep exploring the profound wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy not just for thinkers, but for anyone craving a clear, awake, and self-mastered life. Strategy 4. Transform your emotions. Don't suppress or amplify them. Emotions are an inseparable part of being human. You can't live without feeling something, just as you can't avoid experiencing sadness, anger, jealousy, disappointment, or anxiety. The issue isn't the emotions themselves, it's how you face and handle them. Many people mistakenly believe that to be strong, they must deny their emotions, suppress their pain, and act unbothered. But in reality, suppression doesn't make you stronger. It just buries your emotions deeper, where they fester into blockages, simmering anger, or even inner crises. On the flip side, some people drown in their emotions. When things don't go their way, they let anger control their words, let sadness spiral into depression, let jealousy turn into resentment, or let despair lead them to abandon their goals. In these moments, emotions become waves that wash away their inner peace and direction. That's why the strategy of transforming emotions requires finding a middle path, where you neither run from your feelings nor let them control you. You acknowledge them, observe them, and channel them into constructive action. Stoic philosophy teaches us that while you can't control every event, you can control your response. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you feel hurt, it's because you allow it to hurt you." This doesn't mean your emotions aren't real. It means there's a space between an event and your reaction, and in that space lies your freedom. When someone insults you, you can choose not to retaliate. When something bad happens, you can choose to learn instead of complain. When failure hits, you can choose to rise with resilience instead of collapsing in pain. So how do you practice this in daily life? First, learn to name your emotions. When you feel upset, pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Don't just say, I'm tired. Dig deeper. Are you angry because you were rejected? Sad because you feel inadequate? Anxious because you fear failure? Naming your emotions brings them into the light and puts you back in control. It's like a crying child who needs an adult to acknowledge their feelings, not ignore or scold them. Your mind is the same. It needs to be seen, not dismissed. Next, practice observing your emotions as an outsider. When you're sad, instead of sinking into sadness, try watching it like you're viewing a movie. Oh, I'm feeling sad. It's like a heaviness in my chest. I'm tempted to avoid it. This act of observing helps you detach from identifying with the emotion. You're no longer sadness. You're someone experiencing sadness. That shift makes a huge difference. You become more aware, and from there, you can choose how to respond. A powerful Stoic practice is keeping an inner journal. Spend a few minutes each day writing down what you're feeling, why you feel that way, and what you can learn from it. As you write, you'll start to notice patterns, unhealed wounds, and things you need to change. This not only lightens your heart, but also helps you gradually transform negative emotions into positive motivation, like turning coal into energy. Stoics never deny emotions. They just don't let emotions steer the ship. They hold the rudder, observing the waves of emotion pass by while keeping their course clear. This takes daily practice. Through every disappointment, every flash of anger, every moment of letdown. Each time you manage your emotions, even just a little, you strengthen your inner resolve. That's emotional discipline, not suppression, but mastery. If you're going through a turbulent time with your emotions, remember, you're not alone. Emotions are something every human faces, but how you respond defines who you are. Learn to transform them instead of bottling them up or letting them explode. With awareness, you can turn even the most negative emotions into fuel for personal growth. If this resonates with your inner journey, leave a comment sharing your experience of facing your emotions. And don't forget to like and subscribe to join me in the next videos. We're on a challenging but worthwhile path, the path to mastering ourselves. Strategy 5. Limit distractions. In today's world, you're not just living with yourself, you're navigating a sea of information, noise, and countless distractions. From constant phone notifications to negative news, comparison-driven social media, meaningless conversations, or people who drain your energy, these things quietly chip away at your focus and peace, bit by bit. One of the sharpest insights from Stoic philosophers is their understanding that while you can't control the world, you can control what you allow into your mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Your mind will be clear and strong if you don't let pointless things enter it." Written over 2,000 years ago, this wisdom feels tailor-made for our modern lives, where a single swipe on your phone can pull you into a spiral of comparison, anxiety, or emptiness. So how do you limit distractions? The first step is awareness. Spend a day observing and noting everything that pulls you out of focus or balance. It might be checking your phone every 5 minutes, reading irrelevant news, or scrolling through someone else's stories only to feel inferior. It could be conversations filled with blame or negativity, or getting dragged into someone else's drama that has nothing to do with you. Only by identifying these distractions can you start setting boundaries. Setting boundaries doesn't mean living like a hermit, shunning technology or connection. It means being selective about what deserves your attention. For example, instead of following hundreds of people on social media, curate your feed to include only those who inspire, uplift, or add real value to your life. If opening Instagram leaves you feeling insecure or empty, ask yourself, why am I using this platform? Is it helping me grow or holding me back? You can unfollow, mute notifications, or set daily time limits using app features. The same goes for news and media. You don't need to know every single thing happening in the world. In fact, most of that information doesn't improve your life. It just breeds anxiety, helplessness, or overload. Stoics aren't indifferent to the world, but they're clear about what's within their circle of influence. Try limiting news consumption to a specific time of day from a trusted source instead of letting it flood your mind uncontrollably. Boundaries aren't just for the digital world. They apply to people too. Some relationships are like energy vampires. You leave a conversation feeling drained, negative, or lost. You don't need to resent these people, but you do need clear boundaries. Not everyone deserves your time and energy. Learning to say no to unnecessary invitations, pointless conversations, or relationships that make you lose yourself is an act of self-respect. A crucial part of this strategy is creating a quiet zone for yourself, both physically and mentally. Carve out a time each day with no phone, no noise, no interruptions. It could be 30 minutes in the morning for journaling, meditation, or simply sitting in silence. When you're alone with yourself, you can hear your inner voice, clarify what truly matters, and regain your direction. That's where you recharge your energy for the journey ahead. If limiting distractions feels hard, remember, this isn't selfish. It's disciplined self-care. You're choosing what's best for your mental health, focus, and quality of life. The more you cut out the unnecessary, the more space you create for creativity, meaningful relationships, awareness, and depth. Challenge yourself. For the next 7 days, pick one distraction to reduce. Maybe social media, news, or another unfocused habit. After a week, notice the difference in your mind and energy. If you're up for it, share your experience with limiting distractions in the comments below. I'd love to hear how it goes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep receiving strategies to transform and build your inner strength. Strategy 6. Small actions, big power. In the journey of transforming your energy and focusing on yourself, it's not the grand leaps that make the difference, but the small, consistent actions you take every day. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Seneca emphasize that you shouldn't worry about doing something great. Just start with what's simple and right, because it's in those seemingly ordinary moments that your character and inner strength are forged. Think about it. Every small action, waking up 15 minutes earlier to meditate, saying no to a meaningless conversation, writing down one thing you're grateful for at the end of the day, or simply getting out of bed when you don't feel like it, when repeated, doesn't just change your routine, it reshapes how you navigate your inner world. Small actions are like bricks. Lay one each day, and one day you'll look back and see a sturdy wall, a fortress of inner strength that nothing can break. Why are small actions so powerful? Because they help you overcome one of the biggest enemies of personal growth: procrastination and unrealistic expectations. How many times have you said, "When I have more time, I'll start meditating. When I feel better, I'll change my lifestyle." Or, "When I'm motivated enough, I'll start exercising." The problem is, there's no perfect moment to start, and no magical burst of motivation will appear. Only action, even the smallest, creates energy. Small actions also help you avoid feeling overwhelmed. When you focus on big goals like transforming your life, healing your mind, or mastering your energy, it's easy to feel small and powerless. But when you break it down into something you can do in 5 minutes, you start to see you have choices. You begin to feel in control of part of your life, and from that, confidence, inspiration, and self-respect grow steadily, independent of outcomes or external validation. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." This is a wake-up call. We often spend too much energy analyzing, reasoning, or planning when all we need to do is act. Living with purpose isn't about waiting for inspiration. It's about taking small, consistent steps. Every right action, no matter how small, is a vote for the person you want to become. A practical way to apply this strategy is to create morning and evening rituals. In the morning, take 10 minutes to set 3 intentions for the day. Today, you'll act with calm, listen attentively, and do one small kind act. At night, spend a few minutes reflecting. How did you do? What needs tweaking? And what are you grateful for today? Repeating this daily builds self-awareness and aligns your behavior with your chosen values. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. Some days you'll forget your small action, slip up, feel lazy, or lose faith. That's not a reason to quit. The key is to get back on track as soon as you can. That's the most powerful small action of all, standing up after a fall. Inner strength isn't about never falling. It's about how many times you rise after you do. You can also create anchor points throughout your day, like reminding yourself to be present every time you wash your hands, taking a deep breath before opening your phone to avoid mindless scrolling, or placing a hand on your chest when you're upset to ask, "What do I need right now?" These small actions gradually rewire your nervous system to respond intentionally instead of reactively. If you're ready to start, pick one small action you can do today. Maybe waking up 10 minutes earlier, taking a 15-minute walk without your phone, or writing down one thing you're grateful for before bed. Choose the simplest thing, but stick with it consistently. If you're joining me on this journey, share in the comments the small action you'll start today. And don't forget to like and share this video with anyone who needs that first step. Small actions, big power. That's how you transform your life from within. Strategy 7. Build your inner world like a fortress. In Stoic philosophy, one of the most powerful images is that of an inner fortress, an impregnable sanctuary where no external chaos, no matter how fierce, can shatter your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A calm mind is an unconquerable fortress, and no one can have it unless they build it for themselves." So how do you construct such a resilient inner world? It starts with recognizing that your inner world isn't something you're born with. It's a space you must protect, nurture, and build day by day. Your inner world is where your emotions, thoughts, beliefs, and decisions take shape. If it's fragile, you'll be easily swayed by others' judgments, life's unpredictability, or external panic. But if it's strong, you become an anchor, not just for yourself, but for those around you. Building this inner fortress requires 3 key layers of defense: clarity of values, discipline of thought, and connection with yourself. First, clarity of values. You need to know what matters most to you, what's non-negotiable. If you don't know your core values, you'll live by others' standards. When you identify what you stand for, integrity, courage, calm, compassion, you gain an inner compass to guide your actions and choices. This empowers you to say no to what doesn't align, reduces inner conflict, and strengthens self-mastery. Next, discipline of thought. Your inner world can't be strong if you let negative thoughts, anxieties, or illusions flood in like a deluge. Epictetus taught, "It's not events that make us suffer, but how we think about them." Training your mind to keep helpful thoughts and discard harmful ones is a vital skill. Regularly question your thoughts. Is this true? Does this thought help me grow? Am I exaggerating? Is this coming from fear or wisdom? These questions are the sharp sword that guards your mental fortress from fear and chaos. The final and most crucial layer is connection with yourself. In a world full of distractions, social media, emails, news, societal expectations, it's easy to lose yourself in the noise. You need to carve out time each day to return to yourself, to listen to your inner voice, whether through 10 minutes of silent meditation, journaling, a quiet walk, or simply watching the clouds. When you do this consistently, you gain clarity about who you are, distinguishing your true voice from illusions. This is the deepest foundation of your inner fortress. A strong inner world isn't built in a day. It's the result of hundreds of moments returning to yourself, thousands of choices aligned with your values, and countless times choosing reason over instinct. Every time you stay calm under attack, choose honesty over a lie, or forgive instead of resent, you add another stone to your inner fortress. One day you'll realize you've created a space no one can take away, a place of calm, strength, and freedom. A simple but powerful practice to start building your inner fortress is to write down 3 things. 1, something you're grateful for today. 2, a right choice you made. And 3, something you want to adjust tomorrow. This builds a habit of reflection, helps you see progress, and keeps you on track. Make this a ritual, and you'll be amazed at the strength it brings. You can also ask yourself, if I'm a fortress, what's my weakest point? The answer will reveal unhealed wounds, limiting beliefs, or destructive habits quietly undermining your inner world. From there, you can start reinforcing it, not by suppressing, but by understanding and actively changing. If you've watched this far and feel inspired to build a resilient inner world, write in the comments, I choose to build a fortress within myself. Hit the like button if this has stirred something in you, and share this video with someone who needs strength to reconnect with themselves. Once you have a fortress inside, no one and nothing outside can break you. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, where are you directing your life's energy? Into meaningless comparisons, others' expectations, or endless debates that lead nowhere? Every second that passes, your energy is either fueling your growth or being scattered into things that weaken you. And you know it. You feel it in those sleepless nights, those directionless days, and even in the sighs you've grown so used to, you barely notice them anymore. Now is the time to reclaim that energy, reset your mind, and place yourself back at the center of your own journey. Focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your reactions, your choices, and how you use your precious time each day. The world keeps changing, but you always have the power to choose how you show up in it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be intentional. You just need to dare to pause, look within, and start changing from that place. If what I've shared today resonates with you, leave a comment saying, I'm returning to myself. Hit the like button if you feel yourself waking up, share this video with someone you care about, and don't forget to subscribe to stay with us for more messages to help you live more deeply and powerfully every day. Because you deserve a fulfilling life, one that begins with reconnecting with yourself, right here, right now.